Have you ever found the person you'd already grieved? My little brother Theo vanished when I was 15 and he was 10. He rode his bike to the corner store one August evening and never came home. The whole town searched. Volunteers combed the woods. Divers checked the reservoir. His face went up on every telephone pole. But after 4 months with no trace, the searches thinned out. My parents split under the weight of it. Teachers stopped saying his name. I was the only one who wouldn't let go. I kept his baseball cap on my bedpost and the last drawing he ever made, a lopsided rocket ship, taped inside my closet door. By the time I was 23, life had shrunk down to double shifts and a certificate program I kept almost finishing. I worked for a small courier company, dropping off packages and running odd deliveries. The pay was fine and my dispatcher, Gloria, let me swap routes around my classes. Most days were forgettable. One rainy Tuesday, Gloria handed me an unusual job, a recurring supply drop to a man named Mr. Dell out on Ferris Road. His house was a sagging gray thing behind a wall of untrimmed pines. Something about the address tugged at me, though I couldn't say what. A wiry man in his 60s answered, cardigan hanging off him, eyes flicking past me to the road. "You're the delivery. Leave everything in the front room. Don't go past the kitchen. I've got a project in back I can't have disturbed." He signed fast, hands trembling, and disappeared down a hallway. I heard a deadbolt turn. The house reeked of mildew and something sharp and chemical. I set the boxes down in the front room. That's when I heard it. A low whistling, drifting up through the floor. A tune. My chest seized. Theo used to whistle that exact song, some jingle from a cartoon we watched whenever he was nervous. I told myself I was losing it. Grief does that. It plants your dead in strangers. I turned to leave, but the whistling kept going, soft and off-key, from somewhere below the boards. My eyes landed on a door at the end of the kitchen. 3 heavy padlocks, deep scratch marks gouged into the frame near the floor, like something had been dragged across it. The whistling stopped, then started again. My heart slammed against my ribs. I crept to the door and pressed my ear to the wood, clearer now. And underneath the tune, a shifting sound, like a body moving on a concrete floor, and the dull clink of a chain. Then a voice, thin, cracked, barely there, but I'd have known it anywhere, even after 13 years. "Is somebody there?" My knees nearly buckled. It was Theo. I backed away, forcing myself to breathe. Upstairs, I could hear Mr. Dell moving around, floorboards creaking under slow steps. I pulled out my phone and texted 911. The address, what I'd heard, a locked basement. The dispatcher wrote back that units were coming and told me to get out quietly and wait. I gathered my clipboard and eased toward the front door. Then the footsteps overhead stopped. A chair scraped. He was coming. Mr. Dell appeared at the mouth of the hallway before I reached the exit. Done so quick, his voice was pleasant, but his eyes had gone flat and cold. "Forgot another stop on my route," I said, aiming for board. "I'll finish the drop tomorrow." He stepped toward me. I saw him see the lie on my face. I dropped the clipboard and ran, wrenching the door open just as the first siren cut through the rain. 2 cruisers skidded to the curb. "There's someone in the basement," I gasped, shaking so hard I could barely stand. I heard him. 3 padlocks on the door. The officers went in fast. More cars came, then an ambulance. I waited on the wet lawn, arms wrapped around myself, unable to feel the cold. It felt like hours before they carried someone out on a stretcher. Gaunt, hair matted, skin gray from years without sun, but I knew that face. I'd memorized it from 100 posters in my own memory. At the hospital, my mother arrived first and collapsed against me in the hallway. My father came an hour later, and the 2 of them, who hadn't spoken in years, held each other over him. When Theo was stable enough, I sat by his bed. He looked at me a long time, like he wasn't sure I was real. Then his eyes filled and spilled over. He reached out and gripped my hand. "I always figured it'd be you," he whispered. "I never stopped listening for you." 13 years in that basement took things from him I'm still learning about. He can't handle small spaces or sudden noise. He sleeps with every light on. He has therapy 3 times a week, and some days are very dark, but he's home. He's free. And last Sunday, for the first time, I heard him whistle that old cartoon tune, quietly, in the kitchen, with the back door standing wide open.